Yeah, so my name is Lester Smolsky. I'm mostly a hypnotherapist. I'm a life coach, I'm a master NLP practitioner, I'm an advanced theta healer, I'm a personal development trainer. All these different aspects come together so that I get to help people and help people transform their lives. So the idea of calling it a transformation station is it's like coming into, you go into the station and you go into the tunnel of transformation, and you come in and you're maybe a bit unsure and a bit nervous or sad or scared or whatever it is, and you come in and you know that you need some sort of change and some sort of transformation. And then by getting to speak to the unconscious, you can make these changes. So just like Joe Blewett was saying earlier on, that our natural state is joy, and it brings you back to that natural state. So you come out of the tunnel and back into the light, so it's going to lighten the way to a new you. So I'm going to explain some things. What my theme is today, obviously it's about health, is to become conscious of your unconscious. So we have a conscious mind and we have an unconscious mind. So some of you are therapists, some of you will know that, some of you will have heard of that, and it might be quite new to you. So I'll give you a little bit of an idea. If you think of the mind like an iceberg, you might have heard this analogy before. So you've got this bit above the water, and that's your conscious mind. That's the bit that you're listening, saying, "What's this guy talking about?" And I'm uncomfortable sitting in my chair. And then underneath there, you've got your unconscious, and that does all your automatic programs. So, and that's a good thing. People sort of say, "Well, I'm worried because everything's running on unconscious, and what am I missing out on?" But basically, if you open a door, as soon as you learn to open a door, you just generalize, and your mind knows, okay, that's how to open the door. And it saves you from getting overwhelmed, because if you had to think about every single step you take, every single motion you make, it would be completely exhausting. So your unconscious has to run things for you as a program. So if any of you have learned how to drive a car, you'll know what that's like. So you're in your test, and you're really, oh my God, mirror signal maneuver, and everything's like stressful, and you're trying to keep an eye on every single bit. And then, a couple of years later, you're driving to Tesco or something, and you're not thinking about your driving at all. It's just automatic. You're just doing it. Yeah. So the only problem with that is you can get programs and generalizations in there that are negative. Yeah. So you may have had some scary experience, or you've met some person, and you may generalize that if I ever meet a person like that or an experience like that again, then you go into the fight or flight type mode. So I remember actually having a bullying boss, and that was one of the reasons that I got into life coaching. And I went for another interview with another boss, and everything went well. I was like, had all the right answers, and the CV exactly right, and I was a complete fit for that job. But at the end of it, he said, "Have you got any questions?" And I sort of thought, "What's your management style like?" And the guy sort of tensed up a little bit, and he's like, "All right." And basically I was thinking, are you going to be like that last guy that did that stuff to me? And so we tend to generalize. Our unconscious will do things to keep us safe. Now, so he would get back and say, the interview went really well, Lester's really suited for the role, but there was something just wasn't quite right. I don't know what it was. And it was basically that moment. So my unconscious would resist, and he could feel that, and he would pick up on that, So later on down the line, I went for another interview, and it was actually a female boss, and I was like, great, because I saw that as nurturing and wonderful, and I was really, really delighted with that. And so I became aware later on that I had generalized, I projected onto that guy stuff that wasn't anything to do with him. Yeah. So it's just to be aware and to become conscious of your unconscious. So I'm going to tell you a bit of a story. This is a thing that you can use in your life to become conscious. There's a formula, and it's called E plus R equals O. Yeah. So it's event plus response equals outcome. So you can't control the event, because sometimes things happen and you can't really control what's happened there. But you can control how you react to it, and then that affects your outcome. Now what normally happens is we're on autopilot, they've got all these programs running in there that just go automatic, yeah? So I remember I was had my car, and I think I'd gone into my garage and I just knocked the mirror slightly and got a little scratch on it. I remember thinking, oh, that's really annoying, I'd really like to get that sorted. And anyway, further down the line I went for a meal at somebody's house, and I parked on the street, and I got this little intuition in my mind saying, you know, fold your wing mirror in, you know? And I was like, it'll be fine, you know, just leave it, you know, it's quite a narrow street long. So of course I come out, and the wing mirror's hanging off, you know, somebody's crashed into it. So without knowing this process, I'd be straight into my automatic responses of, oh, that's, you know, how careless, and all sorts of swear words would come up, and, you know, you get really angry and you get upset, and then, you know, and what have you, this is going to go on insurance, and blah, 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 and all that stuff. But I'm there, and I'm standing there saying, right, Lester, you're a coach, you're so smart, you go to these courses and you tell people to, you know, be aware of what they're doing. And I'm like, so, you know, so what's great about this? So I had to take some own medicine. I was like, nothing. So, well, what could be great about this? Oh well, I'll look for something, right? So I'll look for something. So I have a look around my car, and there's a note on the windscreen. I go, all right, oh, what's this? It says, you know, it's a lady's handwriting. It says, I'm really sorry, love, I damaged your mirror. I feel really bad about it. Please contact me, and I'll get it sorted out. And I was like, oh, isn't that nice? She could have just, you know, buggered off and left it. But she's there, and she did that. I thought, wow, that's great. So I kind of got a bit of, you know, faith in humanity. And then I gave her a phone, and she said, and I said, and she said she was from Morningside, and it sounded, you know, just really nice and everything. And I said, look, you know, would you like to do this out with the insurance? Could I just go and get, you know, go to the garage, find out how much it is, and make sure it's reasonable, and would you just pay that? And she said, yeah, of course. So I did that, I didn't have to go through the insurance. And then when I got home and I drove into my garage, and I was very careful with my brand new mirror, and then I went, oh, wait a minute, Lester. You said you wanted to fix that mirror, right? And the whole law of attraction came in and made it all happen for free for you. So this is what can happen. So, and that's all about thinking about things in a much, much better way. So I'll give you another example of that, just to really bed it in for you. Because as you go through to 2017, you can actually start thinking, how am I going to react? How am I going to be aware? So I remember when I was at school, was it first year of secondary school? Now, I'm tensing up with it because the gym teacher, right? I don't know, I mean, it's probably worse, I don't know if it's worse for guys than it is for girls, but the gym teacher was a guy you were a little bit edgy about, yeah, because he was someone that was always shouting and everything at you. So when I was very young, I lived in Puerto Rico. My dad was the chief petty officer in the American Navy, and I learned how to swim when I was 3 years old because it was a Caribbean country. It was very hot, so you had to go swimming all the time to keep cool. And I mean, everyone went. I remember even the priest went, and there was this new priest came, and this is a classic. Comes to the church. My mum was up for Holy Communion. She goes all the way up, and he's got his microphone around his neck, and she says, "Father, I didn't recognize you with your clothes on." So anyway, so my mum used to throw quarters into the pool for me, and I would go and dive under, and I would go get them. And I felt safer under the water than above the water. So when I eventually came from America, and we came to Scotland, and I was really not good at football and rugby because I'd missed all my basic grounding on it. I was particularly good at own goals, you know, but I wasn't good at it. So they didn't really want me on their team, and the gym teachers, obviously, they judged us from those sports mostly. So we had a thing where we went swimming, went to the pool, and he said, right, okay, so the gym teacher says, right, groups A, these are strong swimmers, groups B, you know, not bad swimmers, group C, you know, weak swimmers, and groups D, can't swim at all. Okay, so guess what group I got put into? I was in group C, yeah? So group A and B says, what I want you to do is I want you to jump in from the end, and I want you to swim underwater as far as you can. See how far you can go. And then once you get up, just tread water and we can make a mark and see if you can get the furthest. Yeah. So of course A and B do that, and there was this really big guy. His name was Alex Stiles. He was huge. Yeah. And he obviously got in, went past halfway, got 3/4 of the way, got up and looked quite smug, and most of the kids maybe got halfway. Yeah. And I was standing there and I was thinking, this is really unfair. I go swimming all the time, and I can do this, And of course, it's that moment of, do I stay with my automatic program and be scared of the gym teacher and say nothing, or do I get bold and speak up? So I had that E plus R equals O experience, and I went, "Please, sir, can I have a go?" And the whole place went quiet, and some kids giggled, and some kids didn't, and it was that moment. And he was like, so he was so stunned by it, that this little scrappy kid had spoken up, and he's well, all right then, yeah. So I went up to the end. Now I was born in Hawaii, and my mum told me about the pearl divers and how they would store breath. So while I was waiting there, I was already storing oxygen, which basically you breathe in fully, and then you let out half of it, and then you breathe in fully again, then you let out half of it again. Do that about 10 times, and you can actually store oxygen. That's one of the reasons they can go down, down. So I had a bit of that going on, and I got to the end. Right, so big breath, and then in, and I was under, and I was going past most of the kids. I've seen them, and we got to like halfway, and then I heard this murmur above the water. And then there's like this roar. This big kid that says, and I was like, right, and I passed him, and there was this huge cheer. And I was like, this is going to kill me, but I am going to So I got to the end, and I got up and I tried to look like I was completely alright, but I was actually going to die. And the gym teacher was like, oh my god, so he had to reassess everything about me. And I got a higher mark in my PE that year. So people will have preconceived ideas about you, and sometimes there are folk that have a corporate job and then they move out of that and they go into something else, and then someone bumps into them and go, oh my god, how did all this happen? Because they still have that old map of you. Yeah. So with just to talk a little bit about hypnotherapy. There's I've got also NLP, which some of you've heard of, neuro-linguistic programming. So neuro is the mind, that's really this bit here, the conscious mind. And then you've got linguistic, which is language, that's things that we say to ourselves. And then programming is basically the programs that we take on. Now these are either intentional programs that we've actually, like for example Muhammad Ali, I am the greatest, which he said before his actual title fight, before he was actually the heavyweight championship of the world, he was already believing that, and his opponents were believing that because he was, every level of his body said, I am the greatest, and they just believed it, and they saw it from him. Then you've got, so you've got that intentional programming, you've got self-programming, that's things like just opening doors and just learning about things like that. And you've got reactive programming. So what can happen is when we have a high intensity moment in our lives, our unconscious will react to keep us safe. So for example, if you're at the edge of a cliff and you almost fall off that cliff, you might have a fear of heights after that because your unconscious is saying, whoa, So what happens is it writes a program that goes like that, really quickly, with a big thick line. Yeah, it's like, this is important. And it's so fast that you don't consciously get a chance to think, well actually, wait a minute, is it just this cliff, or is it, you don't have those moments to think about that. So we get generalizations. So there was one of the weirdest phobias I helped was someone who had a fear of pasta. Pasta. You ever got fear of pasta here? Pasta phobia is actually a real phobia. Yeah. And I was in Tenerife, and we were talking to our tour guide, and I think we were paying for a tour, and she was waiting for the card reader to work. So she started asking us, what do you do? And I said, well, I'm a hypnotherapist. And she said, well, I've got the stupidest fear ever, and you're going to laugh. And she said, I've got a fear of pasta. And I sat there and I didn't laugh. And she was like, oh, you're the first person who's not laughed. I said, well, I know it's a real thing. I said, we can laugh about it later after we resolve it. And she said, what do you mean? Well, I said, are you okay with resolving it? She said, yeah. She said, well, how long have you got? She said, well, my boyfriend's picking me up in 15 minutes. I was like, right, okay, I'll have to work fast. Okay, so I said, how long have you had this? And she said, well, I think as long as I can remember. So, okay, so she wasn't sure if she'd had it her whole life. Do you know what the cause of it was? And she's like, I don't know, maybe I choked on pasta or something like that, I don't know. So she couldn't really find the source of it. So I said, well, let's find out. So I actually got her to put her hands in front of me, and you can get unconscious signals from her hands. So your unconscious can actually speak to you. So you'll get this, have you ever had that sort of thing, you're watching TV and your hand jerks like that, or your stomach really rumbles, you're in a meeting and it goes and you're like, what the hell's that, right? And it can be saying yes or no. It can be saying yes or no. Your unconscious is telling you, so it's speaking to you. But I can actually get your unconscious to actually speak to me and to you. So you get like finger signals, that just a very gentle twitch, and it's so subtle that you couldn't have done it yourself consciously. Yeah. So anyway, so I said to her, asked her unconsciously, I said, has she had this thing her whole life? I said, no. I was like, okay. Has she had it since she was very young? Yes. Okay. So I'm in perfect rapport with her. So sitting exactly the same way she is, very calm. And then I got this image came into my mind, because there's a bit of, we all have psychic ability. And again, this is becoming aware of it. And I saw this picture of her sitting in a high chair with pasta in front of her, and her parents having a blazing argument. Yeah. And so I asked her unconsciously, said, were her parents having a blazing argument when she was around pasta when she was young? Yes, strong response. Yeah. So I said, okay, is she older and wiser now? Can we let this go? And so she basically associated pasta with anger, a lack of love. Her parents who were her whole world losing it in front of her. Yeah. So she couldn't even go to a buffet if there was pasta there. She would freak out. She'd have to. She's a tour vet, for goodness sake. She'd have to get someone to bring it out to the bus. Yeah. What she was going to eat. So our mind generalizes like that. So with hypnotherapy, you can go and say, this person that's older and wiser, this is no longer applicable for them now. So it's just to become aware of that sort of thing. So the other thing that I'm very conscious of is positive language. So partly maybe because I was born in the US, there was a very positive notion of, when you're a kid, you're told, this might not always be a good thing, as we've just found out. You're told that you could become president if you wanted to. You could become an astronaut. So you have this, this optimism that's programmed into you. And when I come to Scotland, there's obviously a big, it's very different, So how are you doing today, Willie? No bad, So it presumes that the default is bad, yeah? So, of course, where are you going to go from that? So, with the whole notion of, your language, what I do with hypnotherapy is I'm very aware of language, and I'm very aware of picking up on anything negative anyone's saying, so I can be the most annoying guy you've ever met, yeah? So I try to be quite subtle with it, but it's just to say, is that really what you want? So someone said to me, let's have, I had some long-standing illness, and said, but I've been doing my affirmations every day, and I should be completely fine. I said, well, what's your affirmation? Well, I'm not going to be stressed and sick anymore. Right? I'm like, what? I said, well, it's got the word stressed and sick in it, so that's what you're focusing on. So just like when you say to your parents, always get this big aha moment. I say, this expression, don't slam the door, that they say to their kids. Now, the unconscious mind works in pictures quite often. So what happens is the picture gets there faster than the words don't. So the first thing the kid sees is this picture of slamming the door. So they immediately slam the door, and their parents are like, I just told you not to do that. Yeah. So also, to get aware of the language that you're using. So, for example, you guys, has anyone got a goal this year? You don't have to put your hands up, but anyone got a goal this year of losing weight? Yeah, that's a classic one. Now that's possibly the worst goal ever. Yeah. Why? It's a double negative. So losing. Do you like losing your keys? Do you like losing your money? Do you like losing love? So your whole unconscious is programmed for you not to lose, right? So it doesn't want to lose things, right? Because also, is weight a light word or a heavy word? Yeah. So it's just so I say, so you're stepping into your ideal lightness. Yeah. So it's just to be very aware that my friend Louise is here actually, and she said it was okay for me to speak about this, which is lovely. Now Louise had come to see me just about she was on my course and we're just clearing some general stress stuff, and that's usually what I do for people. And I heard her mention that she'd had epilepsy, and I said, is that right? She says, yeah. I said, do you mind if we have a chat with your unconscious about it? And she's like, yeah, go ahead, So she wasn't expecting that or whatever. And I said, what's your goal? What would you really love to have happen in your life? And she said, well, the thing I'd love more than anything is to have a driver's license. That would be amazing, I was like, oh. So in my classes, I've kind of got this idea of, anything you want, you can have it. Yeah, let's find a way. So anyway, so I did this work with her, and also did an MT3, which was just taking any negative language that she had, turning it all into the positive. And she was listening to this for quite a while. And 6 months later, she said, I hadn't really thought about it, but I've not had any more of these back jerks. And then she went to a sleep thing, and we did some work there and things, and just checked her out and things. Changed her medication a bit as well, because she wasn't needing what she was needing before. And she's just recently, just at the end of last year, what happened, Louise?
Got my license. I have to add. I have to say thank you very much, Lester, and I basically have to say that I'm basically cured of epilepsy, so any sceptics out there, please believe me and trust me, it can work and does work.
So if you go on the transformation-station.com on YouTube, you can find Louise's story as well. So positive language is very, very important. So that's how we're doing for time. Right, okay. What time did we start?
22.
What's that?
A few more minutes.
Few more minutes, okay. So, is it more important to give or to receive? Yes, to give. Okay, so who thinks it's more important to give?
Give.
Okay, and who thinks it's more important to receive?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah,
both. Okay, both, yes. So it's just to be aware that they're like a symbiote cycle, so they look after each other. So it's like if you've got your car and you're going out for a drive in it and you don't put any petrol in it, I'm not going to receive anything from my car. Yeah, and what's going to happen? You're going to run out of fuel. Yeah, it's the same thing for your own life. So there's a lot of givers, your caretakers, people who look after everyone, and that's, they come from a very generous, loving, wonderful place. But they end up, getting so far, and then they run out of fuel, and then they're exhausted, they're burnt out, they're stressed out of their minds. And basically what I'm saying to you is if you allow yourself to receive, then that might be, having a relaxing day, it might be just going and having a bath, it might be reading a book, it might be taking compliments from people and just taking them as a genuine compliment and saying thank you so much, and just actually allowing yourself to receive. You'll then have the fuel to give much more. So it's the kindest thing you can do for others is to receive more for yourself. Yeah. So that's about it. So that I'm going to ask in a minute if there's any questions. Just to let you know, I'm doing a course with Edinburgh Council starting on the 24th. It's very affordable, and it's an 8-week evening class, and there are still some spaces on that if anyone's interested. It's going to be on Tuesday nights. And also, you can come and see me for hypnotherapy. I'm based in Roxburn, and if you ask around the room, there's people who've experienced that with me as well. So, yeah, so any questions about any of these things before we wrap up?
What's your course?
What's the course? The course is Life Coaching and Personal Development, and it's going to be, we're going to be doing like the 10 principles of the transformation station, which I've got listed over there. So it's things like visualize for success, become conscious of your unconscious, everything is connected, de-junk your life, so it's like doing your vision board, finding out your life purpose, understanding your values, and also just being in a supportive environment as well. So it's a really fantastic thing to do. So yeah, so that's one of my ways of giving back to the community, is doing these courses with them. And yeah, so thank you very much for that question. Anything else? Any questions?
Can I just say something?
Yes.
Yeah, I've been on Lester's course as well, the 8-week course. I did it a few years ago, and it was totally amazing. And it did change my life. I created a vision board. It's helped me get things I wanted to get. It's amazing. Thanks, Lester.
Thank you, Tracy. So thank you very much, guys. So, and make sure you get Facebook. Okay, cheers.